curious first, why did you get into gangs and into trouble so much early on? Did you not have the home life you wanted, or was it just a part of being accepted by peers, or why?
Had a great mom and dad, even though they didn't love each other. They were wonderful parents, both individually. Great brother, great sister, great family home, had food on the table every day, had a roof over my head every day, had clothes on my back. So lots of love. When I was younger, I just didn't feel like I fit in. And so there was a group of kids that just didn't feel like they fit in. And then we just hung out together. And then the people that were the misfits back then, I was voted most likely to fail in life by my high school team. So even by then, I was getting into just so much trouble. I was hanging around with the people who just didn't have their self-confidence, and I didn't feel smart enough in school. I didn't feel like I was good enough in school, and even though I was athletic, I played basketball, and that was my only claim to fame.
And who was more influential in your life, mom or dad?
My dad was a cab driver, an extremely hardworking man. 5:30 in the morning, goes out, busts his ass. He had incredible will and willpower. And so I saw some things in him that I really, really resonated with. But he was not he went to grade 5, wasn't really educated, so didn't understand the world really well, didn't understand business, didn't understand. He was extremely happy. His only rule every day was if he woke up, he was happy. That was his only rule.
That's a good
We asked
rule.
him, how am I? He goes, what do you mean how am I? I'm alive. I'm happy. And never made a lot of money, made 25, 30 grand a year. Always had too much month left at the end of the money. My mother also went to grade 3, but very wise, very loving, very into family, very into friends, family, bonding with people. Money was not that important, but family was, and her children, the values were. And so I learned a little bit from both. My first mentor, this was June 1982. He had me write down my goals: health, wealth, relationships, career, business, fun, experiences, charity, everything. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 25 years. He had me a whole weekend write goals. I was 19. When I came back after the weekend, he said, okay, great. Are you serious about these? I said, yeah. Great. Are you interested in achieving these goals, or are you committed? I said, Alan, what's the difference? He goes, if you're interested, you come up with stories, excuses, reasons, and circumstances why you can't or why you won't. If you're committed, those go out the window. You just do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And I remember being petrified of the difference. I'm sitting there as a man who was looking at me. I was sitting in a chair. He was looking at me. Wonderful man. And he put his hand in front of me. Are you interested? Are you committed? And I was like, wow. Like, now I've got to tell him that. Forget if I tell myself and then I lie to myself and tomorrow I don't. But here's a gentleman that's trying to help me. Ask me if I'm interested or committed. And so I said, well, I'm committed. He says, great, because if you're committed, then I'll help you. Because if you're not committed, I can't waste my time with you. And he helped me.
That's amazing.
And my first year in real estate, at 19, I made $35,000. My second year, by starting to retrain my brain, every day he had me visualizing, had me cognitively priming my brain to see my goals. Every day I would take my goals out and I would run my fingers across them. Then I would close my eyes like he taught me. And he says, now read it and then see yourself doing it or achieving it or being it. Then read it and see yourself doing it and being. Run your fingers across it and feel the electrical signal from those words coming into your body, into your brain, and cementing themselves there. Every day I would do that for 15, 20 minutes for a year. 35,000 first year, 151,000 second year.
Amazing.
20 years old. And I said, nobody can take that away from me because I know it works. And not only did I learn it for myself, but then I taught it to my employees in my company. We had 1,500 agents in Indiana. Plus all the staff in the offices. At Bamboo, we had 1,200 employees there. And now I've taught, these principles, to our clients, and tens of thousands of clients all over the world.
Yeah. And I think, some people get mixed up with the law of attraction, thinking that that's all they need to do. But then you spent 10, 15 hours a day executing and staying committed to it. When
the law of Goya.
When all the challenges came every day, you were committed to overcoming them.
That's right.
And building great habits and routines and taking massive action.
Yeah. And when it comes to the problems that come up every day, it's like weather. It's sunny for a little bit. It's raining. It's hailing. It's windy. It's not. That's life. And that goes back to where we started a little bit earlier about the frames. Is if you expect things to always be great, you're delusional. If you expect things to always be bad, that may be a little bit, that might happen. And so it's a matter of learning the frames and how do you frame stuff. So even when, I was going through this challenging times on a lot of fronts, the frame was still good.
Yeah.
The frame was still good because I know it's just a chapter, and I know that
it's gonna pass. It'll
pass, and I know that by taking all of my attention units, and that's actually something we didn't talk about today, is every morning when you wake up, you have, let's say it's 10 attention units. If you're using 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them on why you can't,
unit? What do you
an
mean?
attention unit is your ability to stay focused. And your ability to stay focused is happening at the conscious and non-conscious level. So if you're processing stuff in the back of your mind of something you're angry at, something you're mad at, something that's stressing you out, or you don't have enough money, or you don't have the right relationships or the contacts or whatever, if you're stressing out about that stuff and that's eating up your attention units, that's like having your computer, using up most of its energy in what's behind that you're not using.
Yeah.
And we all have a certain amount of attention units every day. And so one of the things that you asked me before that I can come back to on the rituals is using the attention units in a way that is highly, highly productive versus wasting a lot of time. And so my ritual, we started earlier, I just remembered that, is wake up, meditation, exercise, plant-based protein smoothie, followed by reviewing my goals.
Every day you review your goals?
Every day, 5 minutes.
The goals for the day, the month, the year?
Everything. Yeah. I review my overarching goals.
Wow.
I could do that fairly quickly because that's my longer range goals. I can review the emotions that I want because I'm committed to having those emotions every day and feeling a certain way every day. And then I take a look at from 5 years out, 3 years, 1 year, 90 days, 60 days to today.
Wow.
And so I just review it. And what happened?
On a piece of paper, or the iPad,
laminated and on my computer.
Really?
Yeah. And I have it in a booklet also.
Really?
So when I travel, it's really easy.
Do you have it with you?
No. It's a pretty big.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like a little manual.
You'll have to send me a photo so I can see it.
Yeah, I'll send you. It's called My Exceptional Life Blueprint.
I like it.
And so the question many people may ask is why? Why would you do that? Well, because you're having 35 to 50,000 thoughts a day. Right? And your brain isn't certain like what's really important and what's not. Yeah. But if you instruct your brain that something is really important, whether it's something you don't want or something you do, it will actually pay attention to you.
Right.
So by priming my brain early every day, here is what I want you to focus on. Here are the emotions I want you to express through me. Here's the behaviors that I need to take. Then I am on a daily basis setting the course for what I want my brain to focus on. I'm cognitively priming the pump. And if I do it one day, that's great. If I do it 60 days, 100 days, my brain goes, hey, I'm just going to make this freaking automatic because I want to conserve energy. Right? I'm just going to make it automatic. So not only will you focus on it consciously, but I'm just going to make everything happen behind the scenes to help you see, think, and feel things that are congruent with what you're trading your life for and what you want to achieve. So I'm just using the system better.
Right. Okay. Final few questions. I want to go back to the question about the financial mindset because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are listening or those who are looking to make more money. Maybe they're at the 5-figure months, maybe they're at the 6-figure year level, maybe they're at the 7-figure and they've felt stuck for a while. How do we retrain our mind to break through that financial mindset limit?
Yeah. There's something in the weight loss industry field called a fat set point. And every brain has a fat set point. And it basically states that you have a set point, just like a thermostat that's programmed in a room to have a set point. We have fat set points. We have financial set points. We have relationship set points. We have these set points that we become accustomed to achieving. And then all of the supporting evidence, the stories, the themes, the plot lines, the perceptions and behaviors all must match the set point. And so you can ask yourself two questions. Number one is, how did that set point get there? And then how do I change it? Right? So how it got there is through all of your conditioning, through what you've read, what you've done, what you've experienced, what you've been told, what you've seen. All of that has created your financial set point based on your story. And so the first thing to recognize is the set point can be changed. And the question is how. right? And that's the $1 million question. So number one, what drives behavior more than anything else? It's not skill. It's not knowledge. Skill and knowledge is potential power, but what does drive behavior more than anything else is beliefs. And so if there is a belief in the brain that says, yes, I think I'm capable of achieving double my income. We'll just use double my income. But there's another belief that opposes that. That causes what we know as neural dissonance. So it creates a chaotic vibration in the brain between the conscious and non-conscious mind. So the key is to get alignment between the new goal, which is a conscious pattern of thought that you can choose in an instant, and the non-conscious part of the brain around that goal. So how do you develop a belief, right? So it's a pattern. So if I gave you a sentence and you said that sentence one time, you probably, great, it'd be a sentence like one. It was like hearing a line in a song one time. But if you heard a line in a song repeatedly 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and you had other associations with that to reinforce that pattern, then you would start to develop a non-conscious pattern through that. So we know that using, let's say, visualization, you're actually bypassing the conscious mind and you're accessing the visual cortex of the brain. It's a non-conscious process, the visual processor. And so if we take words and we affirm them and we feel them and we visualize them and repeat them 100, 200, 500, 1,000 times, now we start to create a pattern at the non-conscious level that basically reinforces a conscious desire. And so that's really why I developed NeuroGym. That's the only reason why, because we know that's what we can do and should do, and it works. And I just created the tools, the technology and the tools to do it faster than anything else in a variety of different evidence-based ways. So you start to see yourself at that new goal. You start to impress a new belief that seems foreign, unfamiliar, maybe even a little stupid at first.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not earning $100,000 a year. Yes, I am. Well, no, you're not. And there's this battle, and you have to move from ignorance to awareness. So what do I mean by that? If you don't understand that every brain has an error detection mechanism within it, okay, what is that? Anytime you veer out of your comfort zone, the fat point setting or the financial setting, anytime you veer out of it, the first line of defense is self-talk that's negative. That's the first thing that pops up because your brain is going, that's not true. So it's detecting an error between what you said as an affirmation or even what you just visualized or even what you just did against the predominant neural patterns that exist. So it's an 800-pound gorilla initially fighting the flea, right? In Dan Heath's book. And so what we want to do is we want to get the conscious goal, the vision, aligned with a non-conscious pattern. And as soon as you align that, you have neural coherence. And when you have neural coherence, that's like hearing your most favorite band playing your favorite song, and you're just like, oh, that's the best.
Bliss, yeah.
It's just bliss. Yeah. If it's not bliss, you're out of coherence. And so the key, and why we start off early with meditation, is awareness of how do I tune in my vibration? How do I let go of that unempowered self-talk, that sentence, that thought that I had, or that disempowering? It's an unpleasant feeling. Beliefs aren't good or bad. They're only pleasant to unpleasant at varying degrees. When we're out of coherence, it's unpleasant unless our life is on the line and safety is there. For the most part, a fear of failing, where's that coming from? We failed our whole lives successfully.
Yeah, exactly.
But the meaning that we're giving, what people will say, what people will think, how I'll be embarrassed or ashamed. Those are all the things that you need to really get in tune with. Yeah. And when you do that and you start to use affirmations, and again, we just developed a mechanism using auditory brain stimulation to take the most powerful beliefs, the guided visualizations, guided meditations, subliminal programming, to help people.